my name is Tatum Lynch. This is English 101 taught by Gina Warren, and today I'm going to be presenting the effects of Kirk/Spock/fiction on the LGBTQ+ rights movement. To familiarize ourselves with this idea, let's first cover our bases. Who are Kirk and Spock? Kirk and Spock are two main characters on Star Trek, which ran from 1966 to 1969. Kirk, whose full name is James Tiberius Kirk, is captain of the USS Enterprise NCC-1701, more commonly referred to just as the Enterprise. Spock, whose full name is in a fictional alien language, Vulcan, is first officer and head science officer of the Enterprise, serving under Kirk. These two characters embody the yin-yang archetype, often balancing each other's opposing personalities out in scenes that they share together. Kirk operates through life with an emotional, or as it is framed within the show, a human perspective. Spock, on the other hand, moves through life utilizing logic and keeping a tight lid on his emotions. Their dynamic is classic, and it is an archetype that is often seen in fanfictions and non-fanfiction works alike. Fanfiction is any work that is derived from non-original inspiration. Slash fiction is a subgenre of fanfiction. Slash fiction is a variety of fanfiction that depicts two or more characters as sexual partners. Slash fiction, like the larger fanfiction label, may or may not be based on factual events from the original source, meaning that it could be characters created by the author set in the world of the base inspiration, or it could be the original character set in a world created by the author, or it could be the base inspiration's characters and world just following a fictional arc, or many other varieties. There's a lot of flexibility and variability in the world of fanfiction and slash fiction. Slash fiction originally rose as mainly same-sex couples, with the earliest surviving physical slash fiction piece being The Ring of Sojourn by Jennifer Guttridge. A hand-typed novel, The Ring of Sojourn was originally meant as a personal fanfiction. Written without any purpose to publish, though it did eventually become published in 1987, likely without the author's consent or knowledge. Though it was meant as personal fanfiction, it was a popularly circulated piece among Star Trek fans interested in slash fiction. Because of the highly taboo nature of slash fiction, The Ring of Sojourn was passed only between like-minded people who were already in queer spaces, encouraging an already tight-knit community to stick close and share what few examples of queer fiction they could find. Another example of KS slash fiction was published in 1985, 2 years before Guttridge, with author Della Van Hise originally written with heavy elements of KS slash fiction. Its publishing house sent it back with all elements of slash fiction being requested to be edited out. Due to slip-ups in hiring, the novel was published without the requested revisions, and 250,000 copies of this officially sanctioned KS slash fiction were printed and sold. With both the earliest known surviving slash fiction piece and one of the few examples of Trek publishing slip-ups of such significance, one question that comes to mind is why Kirk and Spock? The true nature of Star Trek is one of dogged hopefulness. It refuses to ignore the bright sides of humanity. It acknowledges the shadow of what we are, our war instincts, hatred, herd mentality, but it also acknowledges our efforts to overcome our collective shadow. It focuses on humanity as a community. This is a heavy reflection of the LGBTQ+ community, and one that many queer folk recognize. Communities come together and support one another, accepting differences. This was sorely lacking in religious 1960s America. The queer community flocked to a show so loudly declaring that we were all one group of humans, and often saw the deep respect shown from one human to one alien as mirroring personal experiences. This touches on another interesting point. Spock was an alien, someone removed from the human culture and from human restrictions. Spock had different instincts to Kirk, alien instincts. This is also highly reflective of many different LGBTQ+ folks' experiences in highly religious America. Non-heterosexual instincts were and are viewed as, among many other things, totally alien. Queer folks felt, and often still feel, alien. One other focal point is the very plot of many Star Trek arcs. Ranging from blatantly challenging the Nazi movement in Season 2, Episode 21, Patterns of Force, to proudly displaying the Enterprise's own Uhura speaking her native Swahili in Season 2, Episode 3, The Changeling, to showing the first on-screen interracial kiss in Season 3, Episode 10, Plato's Stepchildren. Star Trek brazenly challenged societal norms and pushed boundaries, criticizing the status quo and showing that humanity is capable of learning and growing, and that we will. The queer community knew the challenges of fighting the standard Western culture all too well. How could they not see themselves in Trek, especially with the love and respect shown between Kirk and Spock? Overview of effects on the LGBTQ+ community. An aforementioned effect is the tightening of the queer community. Another effect is the rift created between queer fans and the show. Over the years, many different campaigns and other efforts were made for more accurate and inclusive representation to be portrayed on Trek, with different showrunners making promises that were never made good. That is, until 2017 on Star Trek Discovery, over 50 years after the first season of Star Trek. This broke any sense of trust between gay Trek fans and creators, and helped to create or widen an already present rift between a large section of fans and the show at large. Effects of exclusion from Trek. Despite the exclusion, queer fans continue to show their love and appreciation for Trek, as well as see themselves reflected in various Trek settings. The LGBTQ+ community continued to create art, express themselves through various outlets relating to the world of Star Trek, and refused to let purposeful exclusion from the showrunners and creators limit them. This exclusion and subsequent rift that was created highlighted a powerful aspect of the dynamics at play, the difference between fandom and source material, or the problem of ownership between creator and fan. This rift showed many people the power that they had as fans. If you are a member of a fandom and you contribute to it in some way, either by passive consumption or by creation, who owns the fandom? You or the creator? For Trek fans, the answer seemed clear. Despite purposeful denial and consistent efforts to ignore their existence, queer Trek fans never stopped participating in their fandom. When Star Trek showrunners or creators denied their representation, either from personal prejudice or from fear of poor reception, the LGBTQ+ community produced fanfiction to correct this, all the way back in 1968 with The Ring of Sojourn. Author Henry Jenkins wrote, "Fanfiction is a way of the culture repairing the damage done in a system where myths are owned by corporations instead of owned by the folk. Queer Star Trek fans exemplified this." Star Trek, though for most of its history not entirely willing, is a haven for excluded and marginalized identities, not through the show itself, but through the show's ideals and the efforts of its fans. KS/fiction formed the foundation of modern /fiction, and helped to shape our modern queer communities and connections. Finally, it is the fans, not the show, who deserve the accolades of being inclusive and unrelentingly hopeful for humanity's capacity for growth and learning. Fans have the power over their fandom. Works cited. Thank you.